Hello, my name's John. It's time for another hobby half hour. You're watching Wargames, Models and Other Hobbies. Hello and welcome back to another hobby half hour where I am just going to be doing some hobby, chatting, whatever. I'm still trying to come up with exactly how this format's going to go, but I think it's going to evolve over time. In the last episode, you would have seen me creating these Deathwatch Terminator conversions. I'll leave a link in the description if you haven't watched that already. Since doing that, I've come up with a few ideas to change a few of those models, as well as finish off the rest of the squad. So what I'm going to do is just jump straight in. So the first thing that I'm going to change on one of the models that I did last time, where we've got this Blood Angel Terminator, originally it had the Terminator helmet, but I was looking through my bits box and I did find a Blood Angels, there we go, that's the wrong head, but there we go, we have Blood Angels head. So what I want to do is put that onto this model. And the head I did have there was the Raven Guard head, because I've decided on having a Raven Guard Terminator, which I'll do in this video. So things I need to do first, I've got to take out that little peg from the back of this, and if I'd thought about it, I would have done that. Would have done that first. I'm going to make sure I push that back on the base. But I've taken enough of that out now. Right, so what I need to do is trim a flat base onto the head, which then, this is where my fingers get in the way. This is where I can start trying to put this in. There we go. I need to trim that down a little bit more. Yeah, I'm kind of still working out this format. If you've got any ideas, please let me know, as it's quite nice to do a video that possibly jumps around different projects and things. Now I'm looking at that, I think I need to try and get a bit more of the peg out from behind it. Let me take that arm off. There's quite a few bits on these that I haven't glued yet, which will help me when it comes to painting. Okay. Now, I think what I am going to do, because I can't get to that whole peg, I'm going to trim the back of this guy's head off a bit. As you're not going to see it, that's not going to cause too much of an issue. But it will just, that's better. That pushes it back in a little bit more. So I've got two more models that I want to add to this squad. So there's the Sergeant, as well as another Terminator. That's it. And it's quite nice, the Deathwatch, having different troopers from different chapters. There we go. So that's the Blood Angel head on there. Cool. Okay. Let's bring the bits on for the Raven Guard Terminator. So I've already put these bits together. The arm's not stuck on like the other ones, but I'm going to have to trim off the shoulder pad on this one. I've also got an old Deathwatch Lightning Claw that I want to use for this one. I like the studding on that side. So gaming terms, it could either be a power fist or a chain fist. I just have to state it before I start playing. But first thing I need to do is just carefully trim off the Dark Angel iconography. Something I have thought about with these videos, if you've got any questions you'd like to ask me, this is the perfect video where I can answer those. I know this isn't a big channel. I know I don't have lots and lots of views, but that's not the point for me. It is my hobby. I mean, I'm not going to say I wouldn't want lots and lots of views, because that could lead to being paid to do my hobby, which would be awesome. But also, it's not the end goal. Just want to share my journey with all you guys. Okay. So let's trim off that one. Actually, while I'm here, let's trim off the one in there as well. Okay, so let's make that flatter. And a lot of these conversions that I'm working on are actually based on things from my bits boxes or projects that I've never finished. I'm trying to reduce the amount that I'm buying, just because, for one thing, times are pretty tough for everyone, so I can't really justify buying loads of hobby stuff. So it is a case of using what I've got, which is going to lead to quite a variety of different videos. In my last video that I did, actually I've got them just here, I found some old school gene stealers from the early 90s and put them together. Right, I'm going to leave that to dry, and at the same time I'm going to stick this to the base. Had a disaster yesterday where I spilt my plastic glue all over the table while I was gluing something, which was a real pain, but shit happens. Now, the one thing I do like with the Leviathan Terminators, which is just more of a happy accident than anything else, is because they were on like lumps of stone and rock that they were walking on, and I trimmed those off. Now when they're on these bases, they actually look like they're in mid-step, that kind of thing, so it kind of adds a little bit more detail. So while I'm waiting for things to dry, let's might as well put that shoulder pad on. Yeah, so this is obviously going to be a Raven Guard Terminator, which in my head I see is quite unusual, just because of how the Raven Guard have being impatient. It's sort of a warm day, so things aren't necessarily going to dry that quickly. I'll come back to that. Let's put that to one side and let that glue all go off. Right, so I need to adjust this shoulder pad and take this one off, so they've got that iconography on them. I can't remember what I was saying then. Oh yeah, the characters within this squad. So I've got the first ones that I did. So there's the Salamander's Heavy Weapon Trooper, Safety Squint, which I really quite like that conversion. This one just here. And then there's the Blood Angel, which I changed the head of. The Black Shield Apothecary. And then the leader of the squad is going to be a Space Wolf. Quite like Space Wolves, and as they're making a comeback, I thought it's a nice one to go with. And just for a bit of interesting lore, because of the captain of my Deathwatch is in Terminator armour and is a Dark Angel, I quite like the idea of the conflict between the two. If you're not aware of the lore between the Dark Angels and Space Wolves, is they do like a bit of a scrap. So I quite like the idea of a little bit of conflict as well as mutual respect in my headcanon of this squad. Now I know that this shoulder pad is originally for the things like the heavy intercessors and the larger Primaris Marines, so it doesn't quite fit in the same way as the other ones do. But with plenty of scraping, I'll get this to fit. I don't know whether to take that edge off on the back. I might leave it on actually, because it kind of matches the one on the other side. And if I do need to, I can always take it off later. I'm going to leave it on for now. Let's leave it on for now. Like I was saying, if you've got any questions at all that you'd like me to answer in my next hobby half hour, please do drop it in the comments. I'd be happy to do so. Might need to add a bit of green stuff to the back of this one to fill in a gap, but for now it's okay. Let's just pop that back in. Yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of tweaking to that. I've got a bit of detail I can add to it, so I think I will do that. Right, let's get the shoulder pad on this one, and then I can sort the head out. So I need to kind of hold that roughly in position and then tack it with a bit of glue there. And it's not got any contact points, which is a bit annoying. Okay, there's a place where I can put it. Might end up needing sprue glue on that one to hold it in place, but for now that's okay. Okay. Right, while that's drying, let's prepare the Raven Guard head. So carefully take off the base of that. I might need to trim the back of it like I did with the Blood Angel, but not sure just yet. Let's see how it goes in. Just adjust that. So that's going to go in quite nicely. Actually, I'm going to tack that just there. When you get the right position. There we go. Okay. There's the main body of that guy done. Right, let's get on to the Sergeant. So I've already put the main bits of the Sergeant together, but I also have from an old kit the Space Wolf Wolfguard cloak, which I'm going to use. I've got the shoulder pads as well as a base for this one. So, first thing that I need to do is prep these shoulder pads. So let's take these weapons off and do some clipping. And obviously with the multi-part Terminators, I don't actually have a set of those, but because in the upgrade sets I've seen the different Terminator shoulder pads, careful of that, I am making the assumption that all the shoulder pads are separate. I haven't actually looked at the sprues. Safety squint. But this is my last unit of Leviathan, however you want to say it. I often say both of them. So any more Terminators, I think I'm going to have to buy another set of the new ones, but I am waiting for the close combat ones, which hopefully are coming out soon. They might already be out because this is being filmed a little bit of time in advance. Try and keep on top of my videos so I have a bit of a buffer in case work gets too busy or I'm unable to make something. Okay, that one will go on there nicely. Right, let's do some scraping. As you can see from this shoulder pad, I did take it from an old model that I never quite finished. One of my many hobby problems was having projects that I didn't ever really finish for various reasons. I think I need to put that on the body itself to have a look and see. Okay, so that peg's okay there. I will put some glue on it to hold it in place. But yeah, lots of projects never finished for whatever reason. But hey, that's my hobby problem. Hopefully I'll get around to finishing a lot of them now. It's quite cathartic to take apart projects that you never finished and then reuse the parts in a positive way. Not saying that the old projects weren't positive, but you can kind of get linked in your mind to the past, can't they? And sometimes we don't want to remember all of that. So there's the shoulder pad on there. Let's do the power sword arm because I need to get this one onto there. So exactly the same. I'm going to trim this off. Sorry, that was going off camera then. Oh, that one went all over the place. Always remember a safety squint when using clippers. I'd like to say as well at this point, thank you very much to all my subscribers and any new people subscribing. I am aware that my subscribers only make up about 20% of the people who watch my videos. So, as a shameless plug, if you're not following the channel, why don't you hit that little subscribe button and give me a follow. Also, you can have a look at my back catalogue of videos. I have produced quite a lot of varying quality, but then again, this is just my hobby. I do it when I can. But yeah, be appreciated. It's nice to grow the channel if I can. So one thing about this model that may need to be done is some green stuff work. I might not have time for it in this video, but here is that wolf guard cloak, which has a full wolf pelt on it, and that is going to fit just like that on this model. There is then this arm that comes over the top, foreleg of the wolf, that goes over there. So first things first, let's get some glue on this and in position underneath. I'll look at my timer. I think with all these videos, a hobby half hour, sometimes I'll be a little bit lenient with it. It might not be an exact half hour. Might be a little bit more, might be a little bit less. Let's hold that in place. And I'm going to have to stick that down to a base, but I need to be patient with this. I need to make sure that this does glue. Okay, while I'm holding this, I'm going to put some glue on the feet. It's quite a warm day, so the glue is evaporating quite quickly, but also it's doing that before it goes on the model. So I can see the cape is moving at the moment, which is a real pain in the ass, but hey, let's do a push and hold that in place. Right, just going to hold this for a little bit. So the head I've chosen, while I'm holding it, might as well show the head. So it's that Space Wolf head there, this classic one with the two braids. Let's run a little bit of glue along the edge there. This is kind of fitting in place quite nicely. I might have to add more glue to all of this later on. Oh no, there we go, that's moved. Let's hold that in place. So I think my aim with all of these videos as well is, although I like my real-time videos, the hobby half hour will definitely stay as real-time, but my other videos might start to vary somewhat, just to have nice quick videos and so on. Right, I'm going to need to trim and adjust the paw on this one, so I'm not going to stick it in place at the moment, as I don't want to push that glue. So while that's drying, let's bring in the apothecary, because I've got a few things that I want to stick to this guy. So I've got, just off camera there, a little bit of the equipment that comes on. I think it was the Grey Knight apothecary, I can't remember off the top of my head, but that will go just on the belt as a little bit of detail. Gonna have to try and tack that in place. Okay, that's there. And what I've also got is a selection of purity seals that I'm going to put on this guy's shoulder, because he's a black shield. He's got no chapter markings, but I thought it'd be quite interesting to put a few purity seals on this shoulder. Maybe they're related directly to missions with the Deathwatch, and each mission that this character goes on, they add a purity seal in an alternate place to where everyone else has their chapter badges. Adds just a little bit of visual detail that you wouldn't necessarily have on that smooth area. That's that one there. Yes, who knows who this guy's from, what chapter they were from, why they're now a Black Shield. Were they abandoned by their chapter, or did they abandon their chapter? Are they the last member of a Primaris chapter that never survived the Indomitus Crusade? Who knows? But it's always nice to have a bit of a story to your characters. And I do like to add purity seals to things here and there. Right, I think I'm going to just put one more on the back there. And let's just grab this one. Maybe I'll put another one there. Oh, yeah, I'll do one there. So currently it's jabbed on the end of my scalpel. What time have we got? We're coming up to the end of the half hour in a minute. There we go. There's that purity seal on there. Okay, let's quickly get in this Raven Guard sprue that I've got, and I'm actually going to get, yeah, I will do that. Let's get the Raven Guard shield, and I know normally these go on the left shoulder, but I'm going to see what it looks like on this one. Yeah, I think I'm going to put it there, just to cover up a bit of that void. There we go. Okay, let's move that up slightly. There we go. Yeah, I quite like that, being on that side. It'll allow me, when I do the painting, maybe do that a different colour or something like that to signify this character's stature or something. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's bring in the Space Wolf just for the very end to see how it is all drying. I mean, just so you can see what it's going to look like. The head's going to be in there like that. You know what? Let's go for it. I reckon I can do this. Let's trim out a little bit from underneath. This. Yeah, that's going to work. Going to get the whole squad done for this hobby half hour. Didn't think I would, but I'm going to. I can break the rules, go slightly over. Put that in there. Get some glue in there. There we go. What I will do at the end of this hobby half hour, I will put in a nice gallery of these guys so you can see exactly what they're looking like. There we go. Too far forward. There we go, and there is the Space Wolf Captain. Let's get that in focus. There you go. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit. So we've got, not the Captain, Sergeant, sorry. Space Wolf Sergeant, Raven Guard, Blood Angel, Salamander, and the Black Shield Apothecary. Well, thank you so much for tuning into this video. I hope you're enjoying these hobby half hours. Like I said, drop it in the comments if you've got any suggestions of what you'd like to see. Stay tuned for the gallery at the end of the video, but for now, all I can say is thank you so much for tuning in. My name is John, and you've been watching War Games, Models, and Other Hobbies.